Hey, it's the Media Men. I'm Ben.
And I'm Keegan.
And today we're going to be talking about Star Wars Rebels Episode 5 Wings of the Master. So, Keegan, what did you think of this new Rebels episode?
I thought this episode was much better than the last one. I liked the last one, but it did feel a little fillerish. This one had more story elements and plot going for it. And it's actually the first time I think I've ever seen a Star Wars blockade work.
It is a pretty effective blockade, at least initially. Yeah, I really enjoyed this episode too. I wasn't too sure how I would feel about a Hera focused episode. I already liked her character, but I thought that maybe she would work better in the dynamic of the group. But I think in this episode, even though she was with Zeb and Sabine, that she demonstrated her how much she stands out, and I really really enjoyed this episode. I like that we got a little bit into her backstory.
Yeah, and why she's such a good pilot. I mean,
Oh yeah,
her backstory kind of explained that a little bit for us, that she would always look up at the skies and wish to be there through the Empire invasions and such.
yeah, yeah. I really that and the ship she got to pilot was pretty cool. I really enjoyed that. I like that they're gonna put the B wing into mass production.
Yeah, I mean, that was a cool ship. I really liked it.
Yeah, it was cool. It had a unique design. I wasn't expecting it to go on its vertical axis like that.
No, neither was I. I also thought that the beam that it fired was super reminiscent of the Death Star.
Yeah, I thought so too, and it looked really cool.
Yeah, I thought it looked awesome. I wasn't sure how I would feel about it at first when I first saw him bring it out, but then she started flying and I was like, okay, that's pretty cool. And she could like rotate the whole plane around her while still keeping her level, basically.
Yeah, it was awesome. One thing I don't understand, and I don't understand how it works on the Death Star, how do those lasers converge onto a single point out in space and then fire forward?
Dude, don't ask me to explain anything technical about Star Wars.
Hey, you're the engineer here.
I watched this for the magic.
True, science fantasy. It's not science fiction.
Science fantasies. That
No, I only
don't.
bring it up as a joke. It's not something that actually bothers me, but
No,
I
just
also
it would be
no, I
interesting
know.
to learn.
I also enjoyed this episode more than the last episode. I just felt like there was more character development here, or it felt more fleshed out. Like whereas with Ezra, it felt like it was the beginning of the episode, and then it went on this long tangent, and then kind of came back full circle at the end. It didn't feel like the middle of the episode had as much to do with it, even though I enjoyed seeing Hondo again. But this episode felt very. It stayed focused on Hera, and I like that she got promoted also at the end. That was great.
Yeah, she's now a Phoenix leader, so she's going to be commanding all the pilots, which is going to be great because she is such a great pilot. So it'll be nice to see her take control. She already does that within her own squad of people, but taking on an army type situation, these rebels are basically an army and they run and operate such as. So that'll be cool to have her in such a high role of power.
Absolutely. I like that Rex is hanging out and contributing still. Also, he's more integral than I thought he was going to be.
I'm really glad he is too because he's such a great character. And after all of these years and even before the Clone Wars, he had built so many connections and relationships with people. So it still makes a lot of sense that he has all of these people that he knows at his disposal that he can bring in and talk to and, gain assistance from.
Oh yeah, makes a lot of sense. I really like the guy that they ran into.
Yeah.
I'm drawing a blank on his name, but
Old dude, really short.
old guy. They did say a name, but I really enjoyed him. He's quirky, and
Yeah.
I like how he just installed a hyperdrive on the Phantom like it was no big deal.
Yeah, just like, whatever.
You guys need one. That was awesome.
I like the new world that they introduced too. I think it was called Chantapole.
Yeah.
So I thought that was an interesting, it goes back to the world building of Star Wars, and this is a new addition. So it's cool to see this. We didn't even see the ground. We saw these tall ass rocks. So I wonder if they, they probably won't go back, but if they were, you could have a whole new world to explore. And like, I don't know, I like the electricity fields through the atmosphere that didn't allow it to, like, the planes to like operate or shut down.
Yeah. That was interesting, and there was a good logic there for why it. I mean, it's hard for ships to make it through there. So testing ships there, if it can survive that, then it could survive a lot of places. So I like the logic of why they were using it.
Yeah, and oh my God, that beam when she shot it at the Empire ship, I was like, holy shit, that did way more damage than I thought it was going to do.
Oh yeah, definitely. I completely destroyed that. I was not expecting that either.
No, no, it was cool that like it wasn't just like a shot. It was like a laser, and it was just cutting through the middle of that ship.
Yeah, so I really enjoyed Hera's character development. I liked a little bit of tension going on, like positive tension going on between Kanan and her. I'm wondering if they'll develop a romantic thing further down the line.
Yeah, I feel like it's also possible that they've had a romantic thing in the past because it seems like that could be something that they have already done, and that's why they seem so close with each other sometimes.
Yeah, I would like to see that explored, but it's not necessary.
No, but I think it would be a good relationship. They match their chemistry so well.
Oh, absolutely. So I just really enjoyed it. I'm struggling to come up with something I didn't like, but I was really entertained. I was much more invested in this episode than I was in the last episode.
Yeah, it felt more integral to the plot of the overall story, so that was cool.
Well, in terms of her character, I don't know if it furthered like the goal, though. I don't know if there is really a central goal other than the crew finding out who Darth Vader is. But it felt more important for Hera's character than the last episode felt important for Ezra's.
Yeah, and I missed Ahsoka this episode, but one thing that I do want to see in the future again is more Kanan, because I feel like he's just kind of been a back player these last few episodes, so he hasn't really done anything except talk to Ezra. I don't know, like
Yeah, I really want to see him
back in action.
Yeah, exactly. Did you have anything that you didn't like about the episode?
No, I thought it was a pretty solid episode overall. There wasn't much to pick apart from it because it was a pretty self-contained story. It was basically just a journey about them going to find a ship and then get the ship that will change the tides of this blockade struggle. So I thought the story was pretty plot hole-less, so that's always good.
Yeah, well, it's like, why couldn't they just fly around to the other side of the planet? But
yeah, I thought the same thing. I'm gonna go with maybe there were other ships on the other side, and that way, or maybe on all 4 sides, so they could have easily like shifted around the planet to whichever position they needed to be in to fight.
Yeah, or like they have some tracking mechanism that deals with that separately. That's also
I have always wondered that though, like.
I think it's those details that we as fans wonder about, but it's not ones that are really important as far as storytelling is concerned. It would just be bogged down in technical details, basically.
Yeah,
it's not a very Star Wars-y thing to do.
Yeah, I also think that the blockades, they work better on not letting ships enter than they do letting them exit, because you can't go into hyperspace when you're trying to get onto a planet that's right below you. So there's no way to get around that other than just to fly and avoid the shots, because you can't go into hyperspace because that would put you way further past the planet than you want to be.
Yep, pretty much. Is a blockade can prevent things from going in or out, right?
Well, that's the ultimate objective, but I've never seen them prevent anything from leaving. So, I mean, well, I don't know. It's more of just a checkpoint. Like, yep, that one passed. Oh, that one's gone too.
I mean, if you have a functioning shield generator, I guess you can just get by.
Yeah. So I don't know. I really don't know. The blockades, maybe the Empire is just really bad with blockades. They're just too lax about them.
They don't really care as much as they say they do.
The Emperor and Darth Vader care, but they're not around, so we'll let it slide this time.
Yeah. So I don't really have any negatives either. More Kanan would be good, but this was about Hera, and I enjoyed that. It looks like the next episode is going to be about Sabine.
Yeah.
She has like a Mandalorian friend. I would love for them to go deeper into Mandalore. Like, I know in Clone Wars, towards the end, Mandalore was still a system not controlled by the Separatists or the Republic, and I think Darth Maul had control of it at the end until he lost it because Sidious did his thing. But I'm wondering what's the state of Mandalore now. That'd be interesting to find out. I wonder if they'll go back there.
Yeah, that would be interesting. Another thing I did just think of, though, is we do know from Hera's backstory that her family and race are probably still alive and kicking on their planet.
Well, I can give you a spoiler for at least one of her family members, if you want.
Well, that's a big spoiler warning for that. So
if you haven't read Lords of the Sith, spoiler warning. So her father is alive,
But the rest of her family is not.
yeah. At the end of Lords of the Sith, her father was alive. I don't know about the mother. I think the book says that her mother passed away.
Interesting.
But
So Hera was a character before Rebels?
she was a little girl in Clone Wars, but her father was had a brief mention in the Clone Wars cartoon. His name is Cham.
Ah, so that is good to know.
I think they're gonna have a reunion because in the Lords of the Sith, he was one of the first sparks of the rebellion against the Empire.
Interesting. Interesting. So I guess that's where she gets her rebelliousness from.
Yeah. So he's alive. I don't know. It sounds like Hera left before a lot of that stuff happened. So I don't know how much she knows or doesn't know. But I think that they'll probably have some sort of reunion later down the line.
Yeah, that would be cool. I'm sure that anyone who has family members left. Speaking of which, Ezra, his parents, I think they're still alive. What do you think?
Yeah, they are. I think they were in a Comic-Con reel or something for the season.
And not just like a flashback.
No, not just a flashback. They'll probably do with that. I want to say the next one's about Sabine. Maybe the next one's about Zeb, and then they'll get into that. But I don't know. I don't know how they're dispersing this.
Yeah, I mean, there's a ton of episodes left. We've got 20 episodes left, just about a little under. But there's plenty of time for them to get into stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly. But so I don't, like I said, I don't really have anything negative to say about the episode. So I really enjoyed it. But unless you have anything else to add, I think that's about it.
Yep, I think that's going to wrap it up here at the various KBL Media Men headquarters.
Yes, and look forward to more Star Wars related things coming soon.
Not just Rebels.
Not just Rebels. We already know there's some fantastic recap shows out there. We want to do something a little bit different also. So if you liked this, give us a like. If you disliked it, I guess do that. But hopefully you liked it. Try not to do that.
I mean, if you really didn't like it, then I guess it's okay,
Leave us some constructive criticism.
That would be helpful. If you give us a dislike, tell us why. Please let us know how we can improve our talks.
Yeah, that would be fantastic. And comment, let us know what you thought about the episode or anything we may have gotten wrong or just your general thoughts. Subscribe, share us with your friends, and I think that's about it. Media Men out.
Subscribe!